It will no longer be possible for me to give so much of my time and energies to the charities and issues for which I care so deeply.
What if the crown no longer stood for untouchable privilege, but for accountability, humility, and change? In a stunning break from royal tradition, King Charles III is quietly dismantling centuries-old norms, not with spectacle, but with sincerity. From a heartfelt public apology to handing real power to his son and inviting citizens to oversee the monarchy, Charles isn't just modernizing the throne, he's redefining it. This is the story of a king who chose service over ceremony, transparency over tradition, and people over pageantry. The monarchy as we knew it is fading, and a new era is beginning. In a bold and unexpected move that is shaking the foundations of royal tradition, King Charles has announced a major shift in how the British monarchy will operate going forward. This change isn't just about adjusting a few customs. It marks a deep and meaningful transformation that affects both the image and the role of the royal family. From now on, royal titles will no longer automatically guarantee luxury, prestige, or access to public funds. Only a small group of royals, King Charles, Queen Camilla, Prince William, and William's direct heirs, will remain at the center of the monarchy, performing official duties and representing the crown. Everyone else, regardless of their royal bloodline, will step away from public roles and, more importantly, from financial support funded by taxpayers. This isn't a superficial change or a gesture toward modernity. It is a real structural reform with significant consequences. The royal family's spending will be greatly reduced. Lavish travel, ceremonial events, and personal expenses will be closely monitored, with the public given the right to know exactly how their money is spent. For an institution that has long operated behind closed doors, this level of openness is nothing short of revolutionary. King Charles is making it clear that the monarchy must now stand for service rather than spectacle. The days of unquestioned privilege and blind loyalty are gone, replaced by a new standard in which every royal duty must have meaning, every pound spent must be justified, and the institution must earn respect rather than assume it is owed. This dramatic change comes at a time when the public is demanding more transparency and responsibility from all institutions, including the monarchy. By streamlining the royal family and opening its finances to public scrutiny, King Charles is not merely reacting to public pressure, he is stepping into a leadership role. It is a calculated risk, but one that sends a powerful message. Tradition must evolve in order to endure. This new direction may stir controversy and unsettle royal loyalists, but to others, it feels like a necessary and welcome evolution that could redefine what royalty means in the modern age. The grandeur and ceremony will remain, but behind it will be a more focused, more accountable institution. At its core, King Charles is reshaping the monarchy to be more relatable, more responsible, and potentially more enduring. This historic change may also influence other royal families across the world, and it begins with fewer titles, fewer palaces, and a greater sense of purpose. Protests against the British royal family have a long history, stretching back decades. Despite its grandeur and tradition, the monarchy has often been at the center of political controversy. For instance, when Queen Elizabeth visited Quebec in 1964, she was met with public disapproval rather than celebration, an early sign of dissent. Similarly, in 1981, Prince Charles's visit to New York triggered protests tied to the conflict in Northern Ireland, resulting in arrests. These events weren't isolated. They were part of a broader pattern in which the royal family became a symbol of political frustration. Even the younger royals, often seen as more modern and relatable, haven't escaped criticism. In 2022, Prince William and Kate Middleton embarked on a Caribbean tour to celebrate Queen Elizabeth's Platinum Jubilee, but their visit was met with protests. A stop in Béis had to be canceled due to local opposition, turning what was intended as a goodwill gesture into a glaring reminder of the colonial past and the growing disconnect between the monarchy and the Commonwealth. Since Queen Elizabeth's death and King Charles's ascension to the throne, the public unrest has grown louder and more organized. In November 2022, during a visit to York, King Charles and Queen Camilla were nearly struck by eggs thrown by a protester, an act that made headlines and signaled the rise of a determined movement. Leading this charge is Republic, a group advocating for the replacement of the monarchy with an elected head of state. Their slogan, "Not My King," has evolved from a chant into a powerful symbol of disillusionment. This is no fringe movement. Journalist Michaela Fell of Insider reported that during an anti-monarchy protest in Scotland, hundreds of people participated, not just a small group of activists. The movement is growing, connecting historical grievances like colonialism to modern demands for democratic reform. Whether through symbolic acts like egg throwing or through large-scale peaceful protests, the message is clear. Many people feel the monarchy no longer represents them. Once revered, the royal family is now facing growing skepticism. Whether this movement will lead to real change or even an end to the monarchy is still uncertain. But the conversation is gaining momentum. In another extraordinary move, King Charles announced that Balmoral and Sandringham, two of the most iconic royal estates, will no longer be private retreats for the royal family. These historically significant residences are being opened to the public in groundbreaking ways. Rather than serving solely as luxurious getaways, they will now become public spaces, museums, research centers, and even community housing projects. This is not just about opening property to visitors. It is a deeply symbolic gesture. These estates have long represented royal privilege and exclusivity, but by returning them to the public, King Charles is signaling a commitment to dismantling the barriers that once separated the monarchy from ordinary citizens. For generations, Balmoral and Sandringham were symbols of entitlement, places where the royal family escaped public life. Now the king is making it clear that the monarchy should serve the people, not just be served by them. This move challenges centuries of tradition and suggests a new era of transparency and public engagement. It invites the public to connect with the monarchy not as distant spectators, but as participants in a shared national heritage. Beyond symbolism, this gesture addresses a broader social need. Amid criticism and calls for reform, the monarchy has struggled to remain relevant. By transforming royal estates into public assets, King Charles is trying to rebuild trust and bridge the growing divide between the crown and its people. These spaces will now offer educational and community benefits, preserving history, promoting learning, and providing housing, effectively turning symbols of luxury into tools for public good. This decision reflects the idea that the monarchy's role is not to live above the people, but to support and uplift them. With this act, King Charles has redefined royal legacy, not through inheritance, but through contribution. His message is that the monarchy's strength lies not in grandeur, but in service. This vision, grounded in purpose and public benefit, may shape the future of monarchy for generations. A year into King Charles III's reign, the British monarchy has avoided radical upheaval in favor of steady, gradual change. After Queen Elizabeth II's passing, there was much speculation about whether Charles would reshape the centuries-old institution. However, his first year as king has been marked by cautious adjustments, blending respect for tradition with hints of modern thinking. After waiting 70 years to ascend the throne, Charles stepped into his new role without major disruption. While a few moments, like his frustration with a pen box, briefly captured public attention, they were soon overshadowed by diplomatic successes, such as his well-received bilingual speech in Germany. From the outset, Charles made it clear that while change is on the agenda, it would come gradually and respectfully. Once known for his outspoken views, King Charles now approaches his position with restraint and humility, aware of the responsibilities his new title brings. His intention to slim down the monarchy and modernize its role has been stated, but sweeping reforms have not yet been implemented. Instead, he is focused on diplomacy, visiting communities across the UK, engaging with different faith groups, and strengthening ties with global leaders, including publicly supporting Ukraine's president. In his first speech as king, Charles emphasized the need to balance tradition with progress. He also acknowledged that he would no longer pursue his previous activist role, leaving space for Prince William to lead on key issues like climate change and homelessness, causes William has embraced with renewed energy. Charles's coronation in May reflected this balance. While it preserved ancient rituals and symbolism, it also welcomed non-Christian religious leaders and grassroots activists, making it a more inclusive ceremony. Still, challenges remain. There are growing demands for financial transparency within the royal family, and some Commonwealth countries are questioning their ties to the crown. Inside the royal household, tensions, particularly with Prince Harry and Meghan, continue to attract attention. Nevertheless, Charles's first year as king has shown that he prefers gradual, visible change over sweeping reform. As biographer Sally Bedell Smith noted, the changes under his reign may be small, but they are unmistakably there, a careful recalibration rather than a revolution. Whether this pace of change will be enough to preserve the monarchy's relevance in the years ahead remains uncertain. But for now, King Charles III leads with steady resolve, favoring thoughtful adaptation over dramatic reinvention. In a bold move that is reshaping the monarchy, King Charles has introduced two major changes. First, in a surprising break from tradition, he announced a leadership partnership with his son, Prince William. This means Charles will no longer rule alone. Instead, Prince William will take on significant duties, particularly in managing foreign relations and keeping the royal family closely connected to the public. This shared leadership signals a new direction and highlights Prince William's rising influence in defining the monarchy's future. The second transformative step involves creating a citizen-elected council to oversee the monarchy's actions. This council, which will meet annually, will evaluate the royal family's relevance, spending, and performance, introducing a new level of public accountability. It marks a significant shift from the past, when the monarchy largely operated without such scrutiny. King Charles also proposed changing the coronation oath, a sacred tradition that has remained unchanged for centuries. The new oath would reflect modern values like justice, inclusivity, service, and a strong connection to the people, replacing the old emphasis on religious authority and royal dominance. This proposal demonstrates a clear desire to reshape the monarchy into an institution that reflects today's principles and priorities. Combined, these reforms show that King Charles envisions a monarchy that is open, transparent, and more closely aligned with the values of a democratic society. Through these bold initiatives, he is laying the groundwork for a future monarchy that seeks to earn respect through service and accountability rather than inherited status alone. King Charles isn't just leading, he's redefining royalty for a new era. But is this true change or just a royal rebrand? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear from you. Hit like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more untold royal stories. Because sometimes the crown changes more than just the head that wears it.